What's the key to carrying the success of the first three games into the fourth game?
I think just continuing to focus on our process, not focused on results necessarily, but doing what we need to do shift by shift to have the outcome that we would like. But like I said, staying within the moment, staying within the shift, and focusing on the process.
What are some of the small things that you guys are doing really well?
I think as a five-man unit on the ice, in all three zones, working back towards the D zone, as well as getting up into the offensive zone. Everybody's been doing a fantastic job there. Last night in the second and third, I thought our breakouts were a lot better, and the forwards are doing a great job, supporting the puck as we were coming out of the zone. So we want to continue to do that for sure.
You've had some success in your career on teams of closing out teams when you get the chance. What's the key to that, and how important is it, not to let these guys get off the mat?
For sure. Like I said, the closing out the series is a tough task to do, obviously, but you can't get too far ahead of yourselves. Even from game one, I think when the playoffs come around, it's all about the process, like I said. So we're just going to continue to focus on that, and as long as we do that, the results will come.
NHL's looking into, I guess Nick Cousins took a couple shots towards Stolar's warm-up yesterday. What do you make of that?
I know that they played together last year. I think, I've definitely thrown a couple pucks across the ice when I've played against some old teammates and whatnot, so nothing really there. I don't think we need to focus on that very much, and just continue to go forward with our process.
Regardless, any different energy in those warm-ups than you would expect, like at all, like any feeling between the teams or anything?
No, not necessarily. I think yesterday coming out for the game, same thing in Toronto when it's a playoff atmosphere, you're just looking around. I try to take it in like I'm a kid and just appreciate the moment. So it was loud, it was exciting. That's where I'm kind of at, and I think the rest of us are as well. So all the other stuff aside, just continue to go out there and kind of have a presence and enjoy the moment.
What have you learned about Stolar's ability to kind of handle things? Like clearly during the games they're trying to get to him. What have you learned about his ability to kind of handle the heat?
I think you saw it in game two. He's just a competitor. I think there was that moment right there where him and Greg got kind of bodied up, but he's so focused on the present moment, and I love that. His compete level is just there throughout the whole game, so I think that's all you're seeing is just a ferocious competitor there.
This group is on quite a run in the regular season to now. What have you guys unlocked? What are you seeing from this team? What's making you guys so successful?
Yeah, like I said, 5 guys on the ice all working together. It's been so fun to be a part of this group for myself. I feel like, the opportunities for guys when we do make mistakes that everybody else is going to kind of pick it up, and everybody's working together. So the process has been really great. The camaraderie has been awesome. And I think this group is special.
You're about a bunch of veterans in Boston. What have you learned about killer instinct and how important that is this time of year?
Yeah, for sure. It is. It's huge. And you don't want to give any team any life. That's obviously a thing. But like I said, just continuing to focus on the process of the game, and that's where the results will come. So just dumbing things down to the simplest ability that you can, one shift at a time, one play at a time is all you can really do. And aside from that, just try and keep your composure as best as possible.
Is there value to finishing a series off quickly and being able to get some extra rest?
Yeah, it can definitely be a good thing, depending. There's been times within my career that you finished off a series fast, and then you have a long break in between, and that can become kind of awkward. But overall, I think rest is a weapon, and for us, just confidence-wise going forward, you want to continue on the right track and continue to have that killer instinct.
Brandon, as a defenseman, what stands out about the defensive side of Mitch and Austin's game?
Fantastic. I can definitely see it at times. I even played a couple defensive shifts at the end of the regular season with Mitchie. But the way those guys work, the whole 200 foot of the ice, it's pretty special. They're both pretty incredible players on both sides of the puck, and it speaks very well to having that much skill, but as well as coming back into the D zone and putting in the work there. So I have a lot of respect for their game, and it's definitely helpful for a guy like me to have them coming all the way back 200 feet.
Brandon Beach's assist.
That was pretty incredible. What a touch and what a look. And then, those guys are very capable of finding each other on the ice. I was very subject to that on the opposite side of things for a lot of years. So, it's fun to watch and fun to be a part of.
Max, what do you guys got to do to bring the success of the first 3 games into the fourth game?
Game by game, man. Just got to win a game. That's it.
What's the challenge that they're going to offer to try to stop you?
They're a hell of a hockey club, so every game so far has been tough, but no reason the next game's not going to be even harder.
Nick Cousins shot a couple pucks at Stolarz during warm-up yesterday. Apparently the NHL looking into it. How often does that sort of stuff happen in your experience? Pucks just getting shot at?
What do you mean?
Nick Cousins shot the puck towards Stolarz. Now, I know they were former teammates and maybe friends, but in warm-up yesterday.
Oh, in warm-up?
Yes, in warm-up. Yeah.
Had
sorry.
no clue.
Okay. Does that happen often? Like, if you have a former teammate on the other side, you might flip a puck at him just to say hello, or?
No idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any problem with it, I guess? Is Cousins taking a couple of shots towards Anthony in warm-up?
I don't even know the context of it, but yeah, no idea.
Max, what's it meant to this group to have Pacioretty back in the lineup?
He played great, man. I mean, we told him after the game, it's like that's not an easy feat, and he looked pretty good and looked pretty young too, so it's great to see. I think he had like 7 hits or something.
What have you learned about Anthony's ability to handle the heat, like when teams try and unsettle him?
He's cool as a cucumber. Looked great.
You guys are on quite a run from the regular season to now. What have you guys sort of unlocked the last 10, 15 games of this group, where everything seems to be clicking at once?
Just game by game, man. Getting ready for the next one. It'll be a good one. Looking forward to the challenge.
Now he's kind of downplayed his role in the power play. He says he just gets his butt in front of the net, lets the other guys do their thing. But what do you appreciate about how he kind of approaches that role?
Yeah, it's not an easy role for sure. You got to eat a lot of cross checks and not a fun place to be sometimes. You got to eat pucks and all that stuff, but very valuable, and he's done a great job with that all year.
Max, you're a great playmaker yourself, but what was the degree of difficulty on that Marner pass last night?
That's an all-world play. Not many people can make that play for sure. So, heck of a pass and great finish.
Gordon, what do you guys got to do to take the success of the first 3 games into the fourth?
I think just keep building. We're doing things at times that we like, and then there's some areas that we need to clean up and improve on. So for us, it's just about continuing to build our game, playing within structure and building up from there.
What sort of little things are you guys doing to win battles? I know face-offs is part of it.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of little things that both teams are trying to do, and often with these types of playoff games that are very competitive, it comes down to just details, and obviously both teams are putting a lot of emphasis on those little areas, and so for us it's just about continuing with the program here, playing within structure, and again just trying to build our game, and we expect it just to get more and more competitive.
Mitch said he locked eyes with you in the lead up to Austin's goal. What did you see on the sequence, and what did you make of the play he made to set up that goal?
Yeah, he's obviously very talented when it comes to making those plays, but he's also very good at finding those soft areas, and that's kind of what he does.
What have you learned about killer instinct and the need for it at this time of year more than through the years?
Yeah, I think as a group, it's always a work in progress. I think, that last game is always the most difficult, and you expect it to be the most competitive. And so for us, we're not getting carried away with anything. We're just focusing again on building our game and growing and playing within structure and becoming more comfortable and increasing the execution. And so as we go here, we'll look to improve, and yeah.
You've never been up 0-3 or 3-0 in the playoff series with this team. What does it do for the confidence for the group in the room? Get results.
Well, each win is important, obviously. So for us, you enjoy it, and then you start thinking about the next game. Like I said, as you go here, each game becomes more important, more competitive. There's more on the line, so it gets harder and harder. And our group is very aware of that.
What's the area of the game that you do feel you guys need to improve?
There's always lots of areas. I think for one, as D, we want to execute better coming out of our own zone, because that kind of just creates possession. So that would be one area that we're looking to improve on. But there's lots, and I'm sure they feel the same way. So as we go here, we're going to continue to harp on execution, and there's lots of areas that I think we can improve on.
On that goal with where you passed to Mitch behind the net, and it's just sort of a locking eyes, non-talking communication. He sort of did the same thing with Kel McCarr in the Four Nations face-off. Just talk to him about that, and just how important it is, like, communicating with just a look.
Yeah, it's important, and we had a play like that against Nashville earlier in the year that was really similar, and I think that just comes with playing with him over time, and just kind of understanding how he sees the game and the areas of the ice that he wants to find. And when you're playing with guys like that, he'll tell you what he wants, and he'll tell you what he expects at a certain place. So it's been really fun having the chance to play.
And you
with him.
saw it in the Four Nations when he did
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
What did you say to him then, or what did you think about it then?
Obviously, that's a pretty big goal. I don't think we really talked about it all that much beyond that.
Sens are obviously trying to settle Anthony in net there. What have you learned about his ability to kind of handle that over the course of this year?
Yeah, he's been outstanding. Like we've talked about all year, both our goalies have been great. And, I think as his teammates, we got to do what we can to support him and, try to make his life a little bit easier. But he's been outstanding for us all year, and playoffs have been no different.
Nick Cousins taking a couple of shots at him during warm-up, sending the puck in his direction. You have any problem with that? Does that happen a lot? Or
I didn't see it. I think that happens a lot, to be honest, so it's all good.
Morgan, this morning, David Perron said the Chiefs' coaching system is built for playoff hockey after playing a couple of games under him this postseason. What's been your takeaway so far?
Yeah, I don't think he's changed much between the regular season and now. We're just trying to, play within our structure. We're trying to build our game, and we have areas that we try to focus on. And so, I think the guys feel pretty comfortable. So we're just chipping away.
Now he's downplayed his contribution to the power play. Says he just gets his big fight in front and lets the four guys do their thing. But what do you appreciate about how he kind of, plays in that area of the ice and handles that role?
Yeah, he's been good. Obviously, that's a very important area of the ice, and I think he does a good job occupying it. And he's making plays too. It's not just the other guys making plays. He's got great poise down there, and obviously it's been paying off. So those guys have been doing an outstanding job now for a few months, and it's an important part of the game. So hopefully they can keep rolling.
What's that you talk about how Ekman Larson defends in these environments where there's not a lot of room?
Yeah, he's just got a great stick. We spent a lot of time looking at that, and he's got good gaps. And when guys think they got a little room, he gets in there with the stick, and that's a huge part of his game.
Continue the success of the first 3 games.
Well, continue to do a lot of things we're doing. I don't think there's always things you can clean up and do better that we focus on, but we're doing a lot of good stuff. So it's continue to, focus on that, focus on the process. Just shift to shift tomorrow.
Greg, how concerned are you with pucks there on the right side of the ice?
I don't think it's anything. They played together last year. I don't even know who did it, or I don't know a lot about it, to be honest with you. The league will handle that.
When you've been up in series, even if you're down in series, what do you learn about killer instinct and the difficulty of just finishing it?
No, it's hard. We'll get the hardest game tomorrow. That's always been the way. And like I said, instead of, we got to focus on the process going into the game of what we need to do shift to shift. Stay patient with our game, and it's, we got to be more disciplined in the game. I'll say that right now. We took too many penalties last game.
Is killer instinct something that you innately have, or something you can actually learn and apply?
Well, you can learn and apply it. I think that, most athletes and veteran athletes have it. They understand. But again, all we can do is, understand what you need to do every shift as a player. And, the battling and the competitiveness that you need, and the puck play, the smart puck play, and all those types of things. That's the process that you need to focus on. The killer instinct will take care of itself. You do things right, but it's going to boil down to competitiveness and battles. It really is. That team battles over there. They're competitive. They got a lot of good players, so we got to really make sure that we're focused on competing, battling, structure, and just understand our process throughout the game.
What do you make of Max Pacioretty's first game in a while?
I thought he was excellent. I loved his physicality, skated well, made some nice plays that line. They had a couple opportunities. I thought he was really good for us. Yeah.
Regardless of the warm-up shenanigans,
they obviously are trying to unsettle Anthony when they can during the game. What have you learned about him this year and his ability to handle that?
Yeah, he's been around. He's a veteran guy. It's been around a long time. He's focused, He's focused on his job and what he needs to do, and I get it. They're trying to get to the net. That's normal, That's every playoff series, right? Like, you're going to go to the net hard, and they're going to dig in there. They're going to do things, and he's just got to stay focused on his job and not get too wrapped up in it.
How much do you talk to him about that, given that in your previous job you had a goalie that could be combustible at times?
Oh, yeah. I haven't really talked to Stoli about that so much. I mean, they're different people. But the other guy, he would get one. He got involved a little bit. He liked that action.
Understanding that there's always room for improvement, what have you guys unlocked in the last 15 or 20 games where everything seems to sort of be coming together?
I think we've been really good at, I talk about composure and discipline. I think we've been really good at that down the stretch. And the game may not be going your way all the time, and you may not think you have the puck enough, or there's a lot of things that play into it, but we stay patient, we keep doing our job defensively and checking and stay with it, and then it finally comes around a little bit and you get your opportunities and things like that. So I think that's been a big part of, our success down the stretch, and got to keep focusing on that. Like, there's going to be breakdowns, but we got people to help, helping your teammate out, and, that extra effort that's needed, the second and third effort you need. I think we got a lot of that going on right now.
Was there any particular moment or game where you felt you guys found that next gear, like something switched?
Like down the stretch?
Yeah, like was there a moment in March?
I don't really have a particular game. I think, I don't know. I mean, I think we were hungry to win the division, and I think our guys pushed to win the division. I think that was a big part of it, some extra motivation to win the division. And so we played good hockey. I mean, I don't really have one game in particular where I thought things changed or whatever. I think we played pretty consistent hockey most of the year. Like I said, there's always areas you want to improve on and work on, and we've done that, but I think we've been pretty consistent team at home and on the road.
David Perron was saying this morning how he sees a lot of similarities to how you guys played to the Blues. When you took this job, how much were you thinking, I want to replicate the same thing I did in St. Louis here?
Different players. Like, I don't think we had the skill set that's here with some of the guys, that I had in St. Louis. I think the guys in St. Louis were probably more apt to dumping it in and going forecheck, because that's the type of players they were. The team is similar, big back end, defenders, and just it's not even like we dump the puck in all the time. Yeah, we put the puck in deep because you have to forecheck in this game, and you have to forecheck in the playoffs. It's highly important. But it's the mentality that you need to build throughout the season to get to this level. If you don't do it during the regular season, it's hard to turn the switch on. So I wanted to really get that identity across to our team right away. We want to play a North-type style of game and, try to establish that throughout the season, which I think we have, and our guys have bought into it. It's all about the players buying into what you want to do, and our players done a good job of buying into that. But there is similarities in the style of play for sure that we played in St. Louis.
I stood out to you about the Matthews line last night, especially the way they started that third period for you.
Yeah, sorry with the
Matthews line.
Yeah.
Their game last night in particular, that first.
Yeah, well, they got a tough matchup. That Pinto line does a great job of checking them, and it's it's hard to get them away from them. So it's those guys are good checkers, all three of them on that line, and are hard to play against. So I thought that line stuck with it, and finally it came through, and they got a big goal. And that's the mindset you got to have. Like, it's not going to happen maybe for 2 periods, 2.5 periods. You got to keep grinding, keep working. So they did a good job of that. I liked their game all around. I thought they defended well, they worked, competed. And then, you know, you got guys on that line that can make high-end plays, and that was a high-end play.